Okay, looks like we're live. Are we live here? Okay, we are live. Welcome everybody to the Outpost. We streaming this evening. I'm not sure how long I'm going to be able to last. I have been kind of sick for the past couple of days, and my voice is just really scratchy. But hopefully I'll be able to get through a little deck building session. As you guys can probably already tell from the name of this stream in particular, I'm just going to be going over some Stoicheia stuff. And hopefully we'll be able to get through this without me having to stop and cough every once in a while, just fixing the overlay here. Because we're not working on Shoujo Doji, Sarepsel, or Silhouette today. It's all Stoicheia stuff. But yeah, I wanted to start with this Leonorn deck in particular because I recently got to complete my playset of Leonorn Vivaces, to keep it, to preserve their privacy. I won't say who it was, but if you watch this and you see this part, I just want to say thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. It was a very it was a situation I'm not very used to, so thank you for that, and of course I owe you one dearly now. And yeah, all I can say is thank you, and to honor the one that gave it to me, I am starting the stream with this. I also do want to look over Stoicheia and and Mythiarch, since those are Stoicheia decks as well, and they both got some upgrades in set 3, and I haven't been able to go over that yet. So let's just get straight into this stuff here. So so far, the only change that I actually have made is putting in the 4th Vivace. I need to find my other Resonance Dragons, make some space for that. And then I'll go over the deck list, and yeah, I mean, we should be done, because I kind of already like the way that this deck is playing. I just need to find the Resonance Dragons very quickly. We can go over this. Would just like to say thank you to everyone that drops by or watches the replay of the stream. It means a lot, and I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day after dropping by here. Let's see, where's the other Resonance Dragons? Where are, the other Resonances? Nope. I know I have them somewhere. They should be here. This is all my Stoicheia. There it is. There they are. Sorry. Placed, no. I still think that keeping the Progressing Promise and Liza, I don't know how to pronounce it, is still a decent a decent budget choice. It's a 20k beater, a 15k special guard, so I would just keep it there for the extra shield value that it gives. The Resonance Dragons just here to back up the Rosarium Fairies, which hopefully do get big off of us playing In Search of an Ideal Far Away. But yeah, we'll have to see. Leonorn hasn't gotten any direct support as of late, and I'm honestly not sure if any of the generic stuff is good to play in here. So we'll have to kind of take a look at this. But I'll go over, take a look at that later down the line. But I will go over the stuff that is here now, so that we can move on to the other stuff. But anyway, let's start over with the grade 3s, I guess, because they're already here. Sorry, everybody. So, of course, we'll start, of course, the ride line. So, ride deck, nothing is working for me today. There we go. Dedicated ride line, very obvious. Gracia calls herself. Rectina lets us call for a Soul Blast. And then we're also playing one of the regular Leonorns, so we can maximize the amount of Vivaces that we hit on a Persona Red turn. But yeah, pretty much it for the ride deck here. Next, grade 3s, 4 copies of Vivace, and 4 copies of Resonance Dragon. This used to be a pain in the butt, but because of Triple Driver, I was able to pick up my playset. I pulled 2 in the Triple Drivers that I did buy, boxes that I did buy, and then I bought the other 2 Resonances for just like $1 something each. So, would definitely recommend getting some. For everyone that doesn't know what Vivace does anymore, she has Unison Dress. When this unit is placed by riding from a unit with Unison Dress, or when this unit rides upon a unit that is in Unison Dress, or another card with Leonore and its different card name, I believe. Yes, in its different card name, you draw a card, and this unit becomes Unison Dress state until the end of this fight. So she isn't fully active until you ride her after riding another Leonorn. So that's why I don't have her as the the grade 3 in the ride deck. She just sorry. She just doesn't have the she doesn't do anything really if you're not Unison dressing. So yeah, just have all 4 in the main deck. Then Resonance Dragon. If your unit's boosted a total of 3 times or more this turn, this unit gets an extra 5k. And then at the end of the battle, that this unit attacked a Vanguard. If you have a Vanguard with Leonore in its card name, and your units have boosted a total of 5 times or more this turn, you can counterblast 1, put this unit into your soul, choose one of your rear guards, and stand it. Again, this is just to reload our Rosarium fairies, which will hopefully be augmented by In Search of Ideal Far Away. But yeah, again, just a bit of a beat stick, as well as a rearguard restander. The counterblast does make it a little bit heavy in what do you call it? In conjunction with Vivace, but I think that the amount of attacks that you can get off of that, you don't really need too many turns to be able to do it. Plus, we have Alentises in the deck, so we get some counter charge there as well. Moving into the grade 2s, we run 3 copies. I'll probably change this to 4 copies. But I'll go over what's here right now. So we have 3 copies of Progressing Promise Alenzia again. It was just a common that was included in set 13. If your Vanguard is in Unison Dress, then this unit cannot be chosen by your opponent's card effects, and it gets an extra 10k power and 10k shield, also active on your opponent's turn. So it's just a stat. It's just a stat stick on the field. Again, it's quite a bit more shield, especially in the part of the game that you know you're going to need it. And yeah, it's affordable. I would probably just put 4 copies of this. I kind of do want to just remove both of these Death's Restraints, and probably add in a 4th Alenza and a 4th Alentis. Was probably the move here. But just going over Command of Death's Restraint, I had 2 copies, so I tossed them in here just for fun. to see how it would do. But it's basically free. You discard the top card of your deck, choose a card with a grade less than or equal to your Vanguard, and call it to rear from drop. And then if if it's an order, you put it into your hand instead. So it gets you either a call or an order back in the turn, though it doesn't help as much in getting an order, since you'll have played your one order that turn already. So mostly just for calling units back out onto the field. And then Luster Impact Dragon, during your turn, if your back row has 2 or more grade 1 or less rear guards, this unit gets boost and an extra 5k, so it's a 15k booster. And when this unit is stood by the ability of your Vanguard with Granfia or Leonore in its card name, if your Vanguard's power is 33k or greater, count Soul Blast 1, draw a card, and this unit gets plus 5k until end of turn, so it goes up to 20, and you get to draw as well for a Soul Blast. So thankfully, it doesn't really interfere with any of the other parts of the deck outside of the regular Leonore, and God forbid you get stuck on regular regular Leonore for more than 2 or 3 turns. But yep, that's it for the grade 2s. Again, I would probably change Death's Restraint to another Alenza and Leza. I don't know how to pronounce that. And then the other one would become another Alentis, and I'm probably going to make those changes right after discussing the rest of this deck. Okay, the grade 1s, we run 4 copies of Rosarium Fairy because she's busted. When this unit is placed on rear, retire another rear guard, and she gets to call 2 plant tokens. Just if you don't have anything good to put in the back, I guess you just do that so you can have your Luster Impact automatically gain that 5k in boost until end of turn. Then when this unit attacks, if you have a Vanguard with Granfia or Leonore in its card name, and your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, choose one of your other back row rear guards and increase this unit's power by that unit's power until end of turn. So the the idea is having multiple Rosarium Fairies out if you don't have a Resonance Dragon on the field, and you just have a Luster Impact Dragon get all of your trigger effects when your Vivace swings, and then your Rosarium Fairies just get all that extra power, which is really fun. If you have the Resonance, then you only need 1 Rosarium Fairy out on the field, and you get 1 extra pop shot off of that Resonance Dragon. And I say pop shot, but even that attack is decent after the Vanguard swing. So not very much more to say about Rosarium Fairy. It's just a big beater. It's just a really, really big beater. Okay. Moving on, we have 3 copies of Rhythm of Joy Alentis. Again, this should be 4, especially now that we have more counterblasts in the deck. During your turn, if you have a Vanguard with Leonore in its card name, she gets an extra 2k. If you are Unison dressed, then she gets an extra 5k instead of 2. So she's either 10k or 13k, depending on how unlucky you are. Then at the end of your turn, if your Vanguard was boosted a total of 3 times or more this turn, you can retire her to draw. And if you haven't countercharged already, if you don't have any face-up damage in your damage zone, then you can countercharge 1. So she is quite literally just at the limit. So you need to be completely counterblasted out before you use her. I find that just kind of going ham with all the counterblast in a turn, maybe even if you're only at 3 damage, is okay, because then you get to flip that and it's a little bit easier to manage counterblast. I did not explain that very well. I hopefully will be able to play this on Sunday, so yeah, I'll go over it there. But yeah, she's just a 13k booster, and she draws and countercharges by retiring herself. Next, we run 3 copies of In Search of an Ideal Far Away. Choose one of your units, and until end of turn, it gets, when your other unit attacks, this unit gets an extra 5k until end of turn. So this you want to put on a Luster Impact Dragon, because as soon as you start swinging with your Rosarium Fairies, then the numbers just go up. So I'll have, I guess, a mock field up later to discuss this. But yeah, it's just a really good tech. I feel really salty because I tried putting this in. I'm not going to claim ownership of this tech or anything, but I had a lot of fun with this in the deck, and then a couple weeks or something later after I did this, I saw somebody topped with Leonorn at the time, and they had in searches in their deck, and I'm like, hey, that is a good tech. I felt validated. I felt vindicated. Like, hey, this is a pretty good card to put in here, and I'll show you the reasoning behind it if you don't know it already in just a little bit. And then next we have 3 copies of Forest Protecting Hunter Prosper. When this unit is placed on rear by a card's ability, you can soul charge 1. So it just sort of mitigates the copious amount of taking soul out of your soul from the original ride line. And when it boosts, if you have a Vanguard with Leonorn in its card name, choose a unit in the same column as this unit, and it gets an extra 5k. So you're just swinging for even higher sustained numbers as well, because that extra 5 stays until the end of the turn. So whatever you're swinging with just has that extra boost always. And then, of course, we have our PGs. I don't have enough of the other ones to play set this, but that is the Leonorn deck. I'm going to go over the in search very quickly here. So let's say you have Leonorn, let's say it's turn 4, and you have 2 Rosarium Fairies out. You have, let's say, like, let's say even kind of on the low end. If you only have one, I mean, you'll only be able to have 1 Luster Impact. Let's say you have 2 plant tokens here, and we just, before we start swinging actually, we activate, there it is, in search. So if we in search Luster Impact, the numbers kind of go crazy. So we'll start here. This is 8, 13. Luster Impact is at a base 15, so it's at +5, and then since something else attacked, we go +10, so this is 20. This is 13. So we add 20 to 13. This is swinging for 33. Then we swing with Rosarium Fairy, boosted by the Luster Impact. Since we have 2 plant tokens, it has the boost. Since another unit is attacking, it gets an extra 5k. So this is 8 plus 25, another 33. This is 18. When it attacks, we restand all of our units. And then boost with them. Yes. Oh, sorry. When attacking while not boosted. There we go. We restand all of our rear guards for a counterblast. Lesser Impact goes up another 20. And then we boost with everything. So that is a number. This is 10 plus 2 8s. It's 26 plus 30. 26 plus 30, 56 plus 13, 56, 69. So we swing for a nice number, and then we restand, and then we swing. We can swing with Vivace first, just to pump this one an extra 5k, and then whatever was there before, whatever triggers we check, we can just put onto Luster Impact if they aren't front triggers. So all the power would go here, and then we would swing with Rosarium Fairy. Luster goes up another 5k, so it's 8. Well, actually, no, we would Soul Blast to give to draw and give Luster Impact another 5k off of the Vanguard restanding it. So this would be 13 plus 35. He's 43, and then we'd swing this for a nice 48, and that's kind of how the whole in search works. Because if we do it without in search, then the numbers stay pretty stagnant. So we're at +5 on Lester. Oh, sorry, that was very low. There we go. So if we have no in search active on the turn, the the turn is a lot smaller. So we go 13 plus 15. 13 plus 15 is 28. We swing with this. 8 plus 15 is 23. So actually, we'd swing with this first. 23, 28. Vivace restands. We'd Soul Blast. We'd Soul Blast the 1 to go up an extra 5. We swing for, instead of 69, we would be swinging for 10. 26 plus 20. 26 plus 20, 46. So we'd be swinging for less 10k on this single attack. We'd restand the front row. And we swing with the Vanguard for 13. And then we'd swing with Rosarium for 28. And the second Rosarium for another 28 instead of 43 and 48. So there's a lot of extra power that you get out of this. There's a lot of extra, there's just so much extra power that you get off of the in search here that the deck just doesn't feel as good if you're not playing it. I might actually just switch the other Death's Restraint to a 4th in search, just to have the playset of it in here. But we'll have to see how it goes on Sunday, because I think just the 3 is fine. Oh, these are empty. Okay, so that's everything for Leonor. And now let's go into the next Stoicheia deck, which is Venerable Stoicheia. Sorry, everybody. Again, welcome to the Outpost. Today we're just going over some Stoicheia stuff. There are 2 decks that I finally got to put together in because of set 3, and I had Leonor kind of backlogged for a very long time, and I finally got to finish it. So I did that one first, and now we're gonna go into the Stoicheia stuff. If you guys get to see the community posts on the channel, then you'll already be familiar with this deck list. But I figured I'd vocalize the rationalizations of the deck, just to make a little bit more sense. So of course we are running the dedicated ride line for Stoicheia. So we go Banana to Lamp to Gamga to Stoicheia. Lamp's ability, when it's rode upon by Gamga, you can look at the top 7 cards of your deck to add either a copy of Stoicheia or a codex to your hand, and then shuffle. Really good. It's a very wide net search. You're looking for like 11 cards in your deck, and you're looking for one of 11 cards in your deck, and you are also looking at about, let's see, 7, 4, like almost 1/7. I want to say, is it 1/7? No. Or whatever. You're looking at top 7. It's a very wide net search. Next we have Luminary Gamga. When it's rode upon by Stoicheia, Soul Blast 1, search your deck for up to 1 codex, reveal it, add it to hand, and then shuffle your deck. I personally prefer getting Persona Ride copies off of the grade 1, and then just getting codices off of the grade 2's ability. It is good to have just more codices in your hand in general, but we run coutiers, so it's not as important. The more important thing I find is just getting that Persona Ride, because you don't get as well off without it. And but even without the Persona Ride, the the deck buffs itself very well, so not too much to worry about. Oh, sorry, the other abilities. At the end of the turn for Lamp, that you played a Codex, you retire the unit, choose a grade 3 with Stoicheia and his card name from your drop, and add it to hand. Then Gamga, when this unit is placed on rear, then if you played an order, you soul charge 1 and it gets an extra 5k. We don't play any extra copies of Gamga in the deck, but I do play a couple extra copies of Lamp, just for that Persona Ride copy retrieval, and it also makes it a little bit easier to just toss Stoicheia copies into the drop during your ride phase. But anyway, moving into Venerable Stoicheia. During your turn, if your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, and you played a Codex this turn, all of your front row units get an extra 5k. So you are guaranteed the ability to hit your opponent in the face with grade 2s as long as you play a Codex in the turn. And once per turn, when you play a normal order, if your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater until end of turn, you can play an extra Codex order. You can't play anything other than Codices, but you get to play another Codex. And when this unit attacks, counterblast 1, choose one of your rear guards for each time a Codex was played this turn, and you stand that unit. It's just really good. It's 5 attacks starting turn 3 if you're going second. And the numbers are, they don't get gigantic on their own, but they are decent. And the deck is pretty defensive as well. So that is it for the ride deck. And I think okay, so this is flipped around a little bit. We'll start with the grade 1s and we'll work our way up into the grade 3s. So of course we have our PGs. Not much to say there. Next, I run 4 copies of Persist Chlorophorus. Really, really, really good card. You need to play a set of this, especially for the early game, just to deck thin and soul charge. So at the end of the battle that this unit attacked or boosted, so if you're going second, you can toss 2 of these down if you have them, and then just swing and have no repercussions for it, unless you're playing against like Prison or something. At the end of the battle that attacked or boosted, put this unit into your soul. It has no requirements as to what your Vanguard has to be, what grade your Vanguard has to be, or anything, so it just happens right away. Look at the top 7 cards of your deck, choose up to 1 Codex from among them, reveal it, add it to hand, shuffle your deck. Plain and simple. It just deck trims, and it gets you ready to go crazy with Codices starting turn 3, turn 4, depending on which one you're going on first, or which one you're going. Next, I run 3 copies of Fairy of Flower Nectar Coutier. I love this class of generics. They just make playing orders and anything really easy. And I used to hate orders. You go back like a video like 2 or 3 years ago, and I'll say I hate orders. But yeah, this has made it really fun. When you play it from hand, discard a card and search your deck for up to 1 order card without Regalis, and it gets you place it in drop. Sorry, I'm skipping steps. And it gets, this card can be played from drop, and when it would be put into drop after being played, you put it at the bottom of your deck instead. It is perfect for being able to recycle your codices. It's just really good for being able to proc a single copy of your codex, potentially more than once per game. I have the same sort of opinion about the Luhan deck. It's just being able to be able to utilize resources that usually are only available to you once per copy is really, really, really good. So again, it's perfect too, because if you have one of the codices in your hand and you don't have the other, you can play Coutier first or Coutier second, depending on again, which one you need to have played, and it just helps with making sure that you are playing 2 codices per turn, starting the turn that your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3. Next, we run 2 copies again of Kusumamala Lamp. Yeah, just to get those Stoicheia copies back. Stoicheia. I'm sorry to anyone that knows how to pronounce it and is just listening to me butcher the name of this Vanguard. But yeah, I already went over that, so I'm not going to go over it again. If I had more copies, I probably would just do 4 copies of Kutir, and then 2 copies of Fiamja. Pretty good card. Just saves you discards. The deck doesn't use energy on its own, so I figured that this would be a nice card to toss in here, because you can toss codices during your ride phase. As long as this is in your drop zone, then you get it back, and you don't have to worry, and you can just keep searching off of the bugs to get more books in your hand. But yeah, that's basically the only that's basically its biggest use here. It's part of the discard pool for the ride phase, and it just helps us conserve stuff in the hand. And especially if you're discarding codices, it's also good for sort of keeping your hand under wraps. You don't want to show anything in your hand that's too telegraphic or anything. But that's it for the grade 1s. This is still in its like first/second draft, so I am open to other suggestions. I haven't gone particularly through the entire card pool just yet. I know that Alvinas exist. I have 3 copies. I'm thinking of putting it in here, but I don't know what to put them in place of, because I like the Fiamja. I do also like the 1 copy of Sea Rumble Brave Shooter that I have in the deck. But I have not found as much use for this outside of its counterblast. But I feel like this slot can be used a little bit better in the deck, but time will just tell what that extra missing piece is. The only other grade 2 that we run in the deck are 4 copies of Flyover Vivartica. When this unit is placed on rear, counterblast 1, check the top 7 cards of your deck, choose up to 1 codex from among them, reveal it, put it into hand, and shuffle the deck. If you don't reveal anything, you just draw. So yeah, you still get some draw power, even if it is for a counterblast. And then the second ability is this unit gets 5k for each time you played a codex order this turn. So as soon as you have the ability to start playing more than 1 codex per turn, this thing is swinging for 25k by itself, without Persona Ride. If it's Persona, then it's just 35. And when we get into the codices, we'll see why it being just 35 doesn't matter as much. Okay, and that's it. Again, like I said, for the grade 2s. Don't have very many grade 2s, but that's fine. Next, we have our other 3 copies of Stoicheia. For anyone that missed the beginning part of his ability in the ride deck portion of the stream. If you played an order that's a codex and your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3, all of your front row units get an extra 5k. So he's never swinging for just 13, which is really good. When you play a normal order, if your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3, then you can play a second order as long as it is a codex. And when this unit attacks, counterblast 1, choose a rear guard for each time you activated a codex during your turn, and you get to restand it. So, like I said earlier, it's a 4 to 5 attack deck, and the numbers are really good, and the numbers are good. Considering that the field is kind of bare bones, the numbers are pretty good. They're consistent, and they're not too hard to hit. And the codices are what make it really good, in my opinion. So next, we have 4 copies of Hurtful Pompidilio. Pompilidio. Pompilidio. This unit gets 5k for each time you played a codex order this turn. So it goes from 13 to 23 to 28, starting the turn your opponent gets to grade 3. And then auto from front row: when your Vanguard is attacked by your opponent's rear guard, retire this unit, choose one of your opponent's rear guards, and decrease that unit's power by that unit's original power until end of turn. So it's basically a 15k shield, because it subtracts, well, not 15k, depending on what is attacking you. It's either a 10k shield or a 15k shield. And as long as you're not playing against Varga and they are attacking with their rear guard first, you will get to proc this. So it's pretty good. It does get you through those non-persona ride attack turns where your opponent's just swinging for like 21, hopefully, or something lower than 23. But even if it is swinging for 23 or above, this does help in sort of relieving the amount of pressure that you have to deal with in your hand. So really good card, and probably my favorite card in this whole deck. It just looked really cool. Okay, and next we look at the books. So the first codex we have, we run 4 copies. We run 4 copies of both codices, obviously. But yes, this is the Principles of Non-Self. Play this if you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Stoicheia in its card name, and you did not play an order with the same card name as this card during this turn. Sorry guys, I really should have some water. I had a big mug of tea before the stream, and I thought that would be enough, but I guess it's not. I apologize everybody that's watching. I am kind of sick this week, but I do want to get through this, so I hope that you bear with me. I love you all. Alright, so again, if you are Stoicheia and you have not played another copy of this codex this turn, you can choose a grade 3 or less card from your drop zone, call it to rear, and until end of turn it gets an extra 5k. And if your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, that unit gets, when this unit stands by your card's ability, this unit gets an extra crit until end of turn, just randomly. Like, here's 5k, here is a costless call, and here's a crit when you were swinging for like 43. I can go over the numbers very quickly once we get through the deck list itself, but yeah, the numbers are decent. The numbers are pretty good, and again, it's a very non-committal field. Unless you're playing coutiers, there's really nothing in your back row that's staying more than a turn. So your front row can come back. At least one lane of your front row can come back every turn, as long as you have one of these codices. And if your opponent isn't binding your drop zone for whatever reason, then you will have copies of Pompilidio to call back over and over and over again. And just like Vivartica, it gets that extra scaling 5k for each codex that you play in the turn. Alright, and last we have the Principles of Unsatisfactoriness. Play this if you have a grade, same clause here. So if you're Stoicheia, you haven't played another copy of this order in the turn, then your opponent gets, all of your Vanguards get minus 3k until the end of their next turn. They basically have the stat and drive check line of a grade 2, basically. And you get to draw. So, really good. And yeah, it just alleviates a lot of pressure, because during drive checks and stuff like that, it's 50% less drive checks that you have to worry about starting turn 3, especially if you're going second. It's I feel like it's really nice. Actually, no, not turn 3, starting turn 4 in both cases, because if you're going second and you hit grade 3, your opponent's already been at grade 3 and twin drived you once. If you're going first, then you don't get to do it to them on your first grade 3 turn, but you get to do it on the second grade 3 turn, which is turn 4. So it's kind of balanced in that way, but at the same time, again, you are dealing with a one less drive check to worry about. And I've played a couple of games with this, and it feels really good to have that security that you can 2 to pass, and that would be a no pass unless your opponent just decides to OT. But yeah, that's everything that is not a trigger in the deck. Sorry. And let's go into the triggers now. So I kind of just had to take whatever triggers I could find and shove them in here. So they are very wonky, but I have found that it works because one, Principles of Non-Self gives you an extra crit every turn on a rearguard, and that rearguard swings for quite a bit at that point. So I think that's really good. And I think the best way to augment that is by going wide, because you're going, because the numbers are decent, but especially now that there are so many defensive options available to all nations now, it does get a little discouraging when you're swinging for 40k and your opponent's like, oh, here's one card guard. So we're trying to make it 2 at least. So yes, we have Olbaria, because I don't have any extra blessed favors. I don't have any extra blessed favors. 2 heals, because I just only have 2 extra heals, but hey, we have 9 fronts, which is some of the most fun I've had, and 4 draws just for the defense. I couldn't find any extra crits. Go figure. But yeah, that's the trigger line of it. All right, so now to go over, I guess turn structure, play line. I will just use the word play line here. So, actually, instead of doing it this way, let me shadow play this, just to give like a real world example of how good this deck just trims itself. All for the books, guys. All for the books. The pen is mightier than the sword. I think that works, especially with this deck, because it's Buddha. Okay, so we'll draw 5. Okay, wow, this is actually pretty... Okay, we'll redraw this. We'll redraw... Do I want to redraw the coutier? Yeah, we'll put the coutier back, and maybe we'll just put the PG back as well. Oh, actually, no, we'll keep the coutier. We'll put the codex back, because we have a searcher already, so we're just going to... That's actually really good, because we can discard one of these 2. I'll probably just discard the Pompilidio. Let's see. If it's even, I go first. Okay, we're going second. In this case, we'll go 1 attack, turn 2, on 2 attacks turn 2, 4 attacks turn 3, and then 4 attacks consistently from turn 3, just as an attack metric to keep track of. Alright, so hypothetically going second, standing already, draw, discarding Pompilidio to ride Banana. We get energy, and we draw. Okay, so that's the second order. We need non-self. Let's see. Okay, we have Chlorophorus, and from there we can swing. So we'll do 8. End of battle. Goes into soul. Check top 7. Oh, perfect. There we go. There we go. Okay. Just like that, we're set. We're set for turn 3. Okay. And we are also, at 3 energy. Okay, and then we'll swing with Lamp. Drive check. Draw trigger. Power to Vanguard, and we draw a front. That's okay. Okay, turn 2. They call something. We take 2. 1, 2. That's okay. Stand, draw. Ugh. Discarding a draw. To ride, Gamga. Lamp skill. Check top 7 for either a codex. Nothing. Wow. Pretty wide net. It caught absolutely nothing. But that's okay, because we have... And we will play Vivartika. When placed on rear... Oh, we go to 6. Placed on rear, CB1, check top 7 again. Oh, there's one. So far, half of our hand is dead. Just in terms of defenses, because we've got 3 codices and a grade 1 and a grade 3. But we also have about 35k's worth of guard that I'm willing to let go of. We'll swing with Vivartika first for 10. Swing swing with Gamga for 10. We drive check a front, of course. That's okay. We still got 7 in the deck, so not much to worry about here. We'll take 1, and they'll attack us 4 times. We'll take 2. Yuck. Guard and 20 guard. Whatever that last attack would have been. Standing already and draw. Okay. Still got 6. Let's discard. What do we want to discard here? I guess we can discard the coutier here at this point. Do we want to... No, not the coutier. Yikes. Okay. No. Yeah, we'll just discard. No. Okay. Ugly situation. Okay, we'll discard the front. No, we don't need to. This is fine. Yeah, we'll discard the coutier. Ride Soul Blast. Search for another non-self. So we have 2 of each. We're covered until next turn. We go to 9 energy. Yeah, we'll go 9. And then I will energy blast 7. So we'll go back down to 2. I draw another coutier. Okay. Then we'll play non-self. Non-self will call Pompilidio. And then this is where stuff starts to happen. So Stoicheia, I played a codex this turn. Everybody gets 5k. Vivartika gets an extra 5k off of the proc. And Pompilidio gets 5k off of the proc, 5k off of Stoicheia, and 5k off of non-self. So that's at 28. And then that's not all. We can play Principles of Unsatisfactoriness next. So Soul Blast 2 after giving our opponent minus 3k to the Vanguard to draw. And we reduce our opponent's drive checks by 1 until the end of their next turn. And since we played another codex, Vivartika goes to plus 15, and Pompilidio goes up to plus 20. So let's start swinging. This is 25. 25 is 20 guard for a 10k body. And this is 33. This is 25k, so that's at least 2 cards out of the opponent's hand, because it doesn't have that crit yet. So forgetting the word. The effect heal doesn't take place just yet, even if they have one. And then we swing for 18 with Stoicheia. Attack skill, restand, rear guards up to the number of codices we played this turn. So we played 2. So they restand and we'll drive check. First check and second check. Nothing, because we drew the 2 fronts already. It's okay. We have a PG now, at least. And then we'll swing one more time for 25, and another time, this time with crit for 33. So yeah, it's 20 guard, 25 guard, 10k one to pass, so it's 15 at least guard, and then another 20, and then another 25. So pretty good showing for a first grade 3 turn. And then we'll take one, and that's all that we can take. Let's see. We'll use Pompilidio skill. I guess we would use Pompilidio skill first, just to reduce the risk of losing it before we can activate it. But even if this is attacked before you can activate it, if the attack is anything more than 23k, then it's done its job as a meat shield. So that will do that, and we'll say that there are 2 attacks left. We'll go that and perfect guard. And then we'll chloroflor. No, not chloroflor, sorry. Yeah, we'll coutier here. Here we go. So that's 4 attacks. Stand, draw, turn 4, persona ride, draw. Okay. First things first, we go to 5, and front row is at 10k, an extra 10k. Thank you to everybody that has dropped by. I appreciate it deeply. If you find any of this helpful or confusing, please let me know, and I will do my best to fix the format, because I'm just kind of going off here. After that, we play non-self, so we just choose a grade 3, and whoo, look at that, we have a grade 3 ready to call. Okay, next, powers. So Stoicheia gives 5k to all front row units. Vivartika gets 5k for the proc. Pompilidio gets 5k for the proc and 5k from non-self. And then we play our second order, which is the Principles of Unsatisfactoriness. So we'll Soul Blast 2, the last 2 soul that we had, to draw. Ugh, another front. So it looks like we're not going to be drive checking anything good today. But yes, our opponent is at 10k and can only single drive next turn, if we can get there. And then I'll call the Persist Chlorophorus over here to even out the numbers. Since I played the second one, my other 10 to 25 there. Oh. Okay. So this goes to plus 30. This goes to plus 25. And then we can swing. So this is... Let's see. I guess we can swing here first still. Yeah. So this would be 25... 35. 35. This would be... Oh yeah. Let's see. Hello, I've been looking for a while, but I forgot to say hi. What's up, Ethan? What's up, Ethan? Sorry, I wasn't at work today. I did not want to cough on the kids and make them all sick. But yeah, nice to have you here. Let's see. Yeah, so we go 35. This is 30 guard since is it 30 guard? Yes, it's 30k guard because our opponent's at 10k, and then this is 35 guard because it's 43 and our opponent's at 10k. We swing for 28, counterblast 1 to restand these 2. Pompilidio gets an extra crit, and then we get our drive checks. So first, okay, second, nothing. Okay, so that's not good, but it's okay. We'll swing here for 43. Chlorophora skill. End of battle of the boosts. Going to soul. Check top 7. Oh my gosh, that would have been so good defensively. And then we get the other order. Then we shuffle. But I hope that I have showcased enough the the consistency of picking up these codices. No worries, they behave today, not including Ruslan. Well, Ruslan will be Ruslan. But I'm glad to hear that it wasn't too hard. I don't wanna get anybody sick. Okay. And then this last attack, 43k with crit. And then from here, we have basically 13k shield, 43k shield, and then this extra 50k shield altogether. Let's see what happens if we take one. Nope. We don't get to PG this game. But, yeah, that is how I've been playing Stoicheia, at least, for now. I really like the deck. Again, there isn't very much committal to the field, so a lot of the stuff that you have just stays in your hand. I think that it does need to be souped up a little bit for a retire matchup, especially if you are thinking of playing a full committed field. But if you're not, then all you really need are just another copy of another side lane that you want to have on the field if your front row is getting retired by like Varga or something. But yeah, that is it for Stoicheia. Alright, and last deck before we go, Mythiarch. Alright, so this one has actually been on my has been on my backlog for forever. But yeah, with Divine Set 3, finally have been able to make a full deck list for it. I don't have the promo. If I had the promo, then I'd have a playset of it in here. I'm not sure what I'd be replacing it with. But yeah, I have this and it's functioning. So I just wanted to go over it very quickly. But yeah, here is Mythiarch. So we have the dedicated ride line for it, obviously, and it's backwards. Okay. Alright, so we have Iandrina, Luruth Manta, and Luruthzol. The grade 1 calls itself to rear when rode upon by the grade 2. And if your other rear guard with Mythiarch and his card name is placed in the same row as this unit, that unit that is called gets an extra 5k. So it's pretty good. Yeah, just guarantees that whatever you call out is hitting for a little bit harder. The Romantha one is placed on rear. If you have 3 or more units with Mythiarch in their card names, you can soul charge 1, then choose one of your opponent's rear guards, and that unit cannot intercept until end of turn. The intercept part, not as important. The soul charge, I guess, has some uses to it, but yeah, it's just another free call. You're just populating the field with these two. And then Mythiarch Luruthzol, when it's placed on Vanguard, check top 7, call up to 1 grade 3 or less Mythiarch from its card name from your deck. If you have 5 or more units, then your opponent chooses a card from their hand and discards it. So if you have a way to just sort of proliferate your field before this comes down, then you can get that early retire. With the single R grade 3 that we got in Divine Set 3, it does become quite a bit easier to hit. Actually, no, it's not. because it wouldn't be on your field when you call it the first time. But it is not that hard to get the 5 unit requirement anymore, as long as you're not playing again in a retire matchup or beat the shit out of my opponent's rear guards matchup. Sorry for the language. Next, when this unit attacks a Vanguard, counterblast 1, choose one of your rear guards with Mythiarch and its card name, bounce it, and then call a Mythiarch with a different card name than the unit that was bounced from hand to rear. So you just get a 4th attack during the turn, and you just cycle out whatever's out in the field. And that is it. Moving into the main deck. This time we're doing this in order. So we have the other 3 copies of Laruthazul, and we have 4 copies of Mythiarch Porkerhyle. I don't know how to pronounce this. This is the first time that I'm reading some of these names out loud, so please bear with me. When you would count the number of units for your ability of your unit with Mythiarch and its card name, this may be counted as 2 units, so it just gives you an extra body out on the field. It's like a Brunner, for example, for blasters. And then when it attacks, if you have 5 or more units with the same... Oh, sorry. If you have 5 more units with Mythiarch and its card name, this unit gets an extra 10k until end of turn. So it's a 23k beat stick, and yeah, it just helps you populate your field. I love names. Me too. I love names. I'm terrible at them, but I love them. Next, and the last grade 3 we run, 2 copies of Mythiarch Alperiel. When this unit is placed on rear, if you have 3 or more units with Mythiarch in their card names, this unit gets 5k, and then you can counterblast 1 to draw. So just extra card in hand, and it gets that 5k. There is some counter charge in the deck, so I would play these over these if I just wanted that purely for the draw, since there are other ways to sort of mitigate the power difference that each of these give themselves. And that is it for the grade 3s. Okay, next, speaking of power of mitigation, we have Mythiarch Marilish. When this unit is placed on rear by the ability of your card with Mythiarch in its card name, if you have a Vanguard with Mythiarch in its in its card name, counterblast 1, draw, and until end of turn, when your opponent would call cards from their hand to Guardian Circle for the battle this unit attacked, they must call 2 or more at the same time. So it's just limited to itself, but it doesn't matter how big it is, as long as it's at least a 5k guard. Your opponent has to toss 2 cards out of their hand. So I think that's really nice. And then next, if I had more copies of this, and if I could read this thing's name, I'd have more copies of this. But this is Miumililin. There we go. When this unit is placed on rear, if you have 3 or more units with Mythiarch in their card names, this unit gets 5k until end of turn. Then Soul Blast 1, choose one of your opponent's rear guards, and that unit cannot stand during your opponent's next stand phase. This is really good, just on the basis of Paralyze. I like it a lot. Again, if I had more copies of this, I would have more copies of it in the deck, but sadly I only own the 1. So that's why it's at 1. And then next are I'll put this first since it's normal order. Play this with Energy Blast 2. So this is Sports Festival at the Fields Day. Yeah, so Energy Blast 2, choose one of your rear guards, and it gets until end of your turn. If the number of attacks this turn is 4 or more, draw a card and an extra 5k. So it's just a little bit of power and an extra draw at the end of your turn there. And since this deck guarantees 4 attacks as long as you have 2 rear guards in your front row at the beginning of your turn, then this does get fulfilled quite easily. So that's there. Again, if I had another copy of this, it would just be this. it would just be more copies of this of Lapras here. Next, we run 4 copies of Believe in the Blooming Buds of Tomorrow. Play this if you have 2 or more grade 1 or less rear guards. Choose a unit being attacked, and it gets 15k until the end of that battle. And if your opponent's Vanguard was placed by a card ability this turn, this card gets 30k instead of just the 15. We have Stride decks coming. I've been saying this. We've had lots of Stride decks coming. So I think that this is a decent budget option for anyone that needs more defensive pieces in their deck. Because as long as your deck plays a field and your opponent doesn't retire, we should be good, especially in the back row. You probably won't have the same into Shiranui if the Shiranui player is just attacking your field with dominated units, but in most other cases, this will find more use. Just more use. Next, moving into the grade 1s, we have our 4 PGs. And then we have 4 copies of the other new Double R from Divine Set 3. It's an Axolotl. It's Mythiarch Risami. From Drop Zone, when your grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Mythiarch in its card name was placed during your ride phase, perform one of the following. If you have no units with the same card name as this card, you can call this to rear. And if you have a unit of it, copy of it already on the field, then you can Soul Blast one, put this at the bottom of your deck to draw. Then, its second ability, from back row center rear guard circle. During your turn, if your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, all of your front row units with Mythiarch in their card names get an extra 5k. So it's a divided 23k body on the field, and I think that's really good. And yeah, it's very cheap. If you're playing Mythiarch and you don't have this already, pick it up. You don't need me to tell you that. But yeah, I think it's a really good card. We also have 4 copies of Mythiarch Habitat. Look at the top 7 cards of your deck. Choose up to 1 card with a grade less than or equal to your Vanguard from among them. Call it to rear, and then shuffle your deck. And then its other abilities, from deck continuous, when you would search a unit from your deck, you may search this card instead. And then when this unit would be called from deck to rear guard, you may put this into your hand instead of drop. So it just gets you that top 7 search. At minimum. This was also another reason why I had to shelf this deck for so long, because this card was so expensive for so long, and then when Divine Set 1 came out, and it was the box topper, I got, not my entire playset, but I got most of them from, just from the box toppers, so finally was able to playset that. And then for the rest of the deck, we run 2 copies of Mythiarch, Usazaster. When this unit boosts a unit with Mythiarch in his card name, if your damage zone has 3 or more face-down cards and you did not countercharge this turn, you may countercharge 1. So, really good. It's hard bound to once per turn, which is fine. So yeah, just have it in a corner, and you'll be good. So, the back row is just kind of looking like you have one Ildonrina. I don't know how to pronounce this. Ildonrina. On one side, you have Risumi in the middle, and then you have Uzazaster on the other side countercharging for you. So you're just getting a lot of power, and then in this one lane, not as much power, but you are getting this is the utility lane basically. And then as for triggers, so believe it or not, I built this after the Stoicheia deck, but for some reason was able to find more triggers and more heal triggers for this than I was able to with the Stoicheia deck. So we're running 3 crits. I still don't have many crits, but yeah, we got 3 crits, 3 draw, 5 front, And then our OT, Obaria, again, I don't have blessed favors, so we're stuck with Obaria. And 4 heals, and they're all effect heals, which I much would rather have 2 copies of in my Story Haja deck, but I have no 2 regular heals for this. But yeah, this is this is my my Mythiarch deck, and let's do a shadow game before ending the stream. I'm not going to be staying on much longer. I know that you guys probably just don't want to hear me coughing for how long I've been going. An hour, more than an hour and 10. So let's get this going, and yeah, let's just play around with this. Okay. Yeah, let's keep it up in. Ooh. Redraw 3. 2. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. I forgot if we're going first or second. I don't think we checked. Let's do it. 1. I should have called first. Even I'm going first. 5. Okay, so I guess Vanguard just doesn't want me to go first. Alright, we draw. Discard. We don't need the Mirror List right now. Tried Ildon Rena. And then we draw off a starter. Yuck. And we energy charge to 3. Then we swing. This is 8. Nice. Risumi, that's our second, that's going to be our next discard. Okay. Going second turn 2. Damage 1, damage 2. Draw, extend, and draw. Discard the Risumi. Oops. To ride Muruth Manta. And let's see. We'll call the Ildon Rena out here. Go to 6. And then let's habitat real quick here. Check top 7. 5, 6, 7. Yikes. Okay. I guess we'll just call the Risumi down here. And shuffle. And then we have double, so we can put that up. Call the Ildon Rena down here, and we don't get this. We don't get this ability or that, but it's okay. We'll swing with this lane first for 16, and this lane for 18. Drive check. Critical. Oh, there we go. That's nice. We go damage 1. Power. Damage 2. Nothing. We are 20k base. They swing at us a 3rd time. We go to 35. And we 35 one more time. Or do we PG here? No, we don't PG here. Stand. Draw. Okay. And we'll just discard the other Risumi. To ride. Let's see here. Placed. Okay, so a couple of things happen. We'll activate the Muruth Manta first. Call. I think we missed the timing on this, but it's okay. And we'll activate the Risumi Soul Blast one. Oh, can we activate this? I'll have to double check the timings on this, but basically, when this hits, we have 3 floating skills. I don't know. I'm going to activate this in the way that I think it works, and I'm going to get this retconned by Matt, and hopefully I get an answer, or maybe even Ran. But yeah, so this first one activates. We'll Soul Blast the grade 0. Bottom deck, draw. Okay, and then we'll activate Luruth since it was placed. Oh no, yeah, I think we just missed the timing on it completely. Because this has to be when this is placed, and this is when that's placed, so that's kind of... Yeah, we missed the timing on it. Okay, so we'll just Soul Charge the 1. Ugh, that's okay. And, okay, we don't need the thing right now, and that's okay. Luruth skill. Check top 7 when placed. 7. There we go. I will call Alperina. Alperial. And Alperial skill. CB1. Draw. Oh, I do go to 9. This gets 5. Yeah, we'll go down to 2, and we'll draw. Okay, and then... Okay, recently, since I have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Mythiarch, a bunch of stuff gets 5k. So, Luruth gets 5k, Luruthazol gets 5k, Luruthazol, sorry, and Alperial gets 5, 10, 15 in this lane here. Whew, sorry about that. Just really had to get that out. That did not feel good. Anyway, I haven't attacked yet, so let's start swinging. Or should we call? Yeah, let's call this. Okay. So, 3 or more face down. We, no, I'll hold this for later. Okay, so we'll switch. Let's see. So we'll keep. I guess we keep this there. We'll swing. That's 28. Yeah, 28 at the Vanguard. Then we swing with Luruthzul. Skill on attack. Counterblast. Bounce. Choose a differently named card and call it. We'll call Marylish. Marylish skill. CB1. And then now loses Esther's procking to yummy OT. That's okay. Marylish gets 10k off of these two. And now she's a 2-card guard. She's a battling door. So this is 18, 26, first check. Second check. Front trigger. So it's 15, 20. This one is 23, 25, 33. At the end of the battle, when it boosts. Sorry, just want to boost the Mythiarch. Countercharge 1. And then we swing this for 38. Yep, 38. Alright, opponent's turn. We take 1. PG. Yay. We guard double intercept because it's okay. And then we'll PG an Alperial. And then we'll guard with an OT. Stand and draw. We drew draw. We'll Persona. Draw. Risumi in the drop skill. You got one. You got one. Soul Blast 1. Bottom deck it to draw. Ugh. That's okay. Let's see. We will call. Yeah, I'll call the units first, and then I'll put the numbers. So we'll call Mew Million. Oh no, before we do that, sorry, I have to check. Top 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so does kind of interfere with what I wanted to do, but this kind of does save us rear guards to call. So we'll just call the Porker Highly. And now that I have 5 units with Mythiarch, my opponent has to discard a card. And then I will also call. Let's see. Yeah, I'll call Mew Million. Okay, we go to 5 energy, and then we give the powers. So we're Persona riding, so that's a 10k boost to everyone in the front. 5k, 10k for Porker Heil, 5k for Lurutzel, and 5k for Mew Million. And then let's see. Not much that happens with Mew Million's bind or rear guard to do something, so we're not going to do that. But I guess I will Soul Blast to give an extra 5k and paralyze a rear guard. And then from here we will swing. So this is 23. This is, I guess, an extra 10k. So this is 43 to the Vanguard. And then this is 28, 36 on attack. CB1, bounce a card. And then choose a card from hand and call it with a different card name. We'll call Marylish again. We'll CB1 to draw and Battledore her, and that's a third trigger. We're not gonna hit any triggers in this drive check. If we do, then people are gonna think I'm cheating. But just to let everyone know, we've gotten all of our draw triggers in the deck, and we haven't drove checked a single one. It's all just been off of draws. But anyway, let's see what we get here. Oh, right, Marylish gets 5, 10, an extra 20k, and she's Battledoring, so as long as she's, again, at least a 5k guard, we're good. First check. Critical! Holy! I didn't think we'd get that. Okay. We'll give the critical here, and we'll give the power over here. And then second check. Another Usazaster. Okay, and then we're dead. After that, yes. Okay. This is 38 with crit, 2-card guard. And then this is 40. Yeah, 48. Counter charge 1. Okay, that's the end of our turn. And then, yeah, I'm pretty sure we don't survive anymore, because we have 5, 10, 15, 25, 40, 50k shield all in all. So I don't think we live anymore unless we heal. No, we don't heal. Okay, so didn't get the greatest example. I think one thing that I probably would do is cut this down to 3 and then bring this up by 1 copy. I just need to get more copies of this because I don't have any extras. But But yeah, guys, that's everything for tonight. I hope that if you guys are planning, if you were planning on building any of these decks, that I made it a little bit more enticing, or I shown a little bit more light on a way that you can play the deck. If you have any questions, or if you question my deck choices, I'd love to hear and have a discussion with you guys in the comments, because we all just want to get good at this game, right? And I think the main thing is just being able to gain knowledge in the decks that aren't super that aren't always in the limelight of, you know, like tournament tops and stuff like that, because we already know how those decks work, or how they work at the highest level. So yeah, if there are any weird decks that you guys want me to try, if I have the pieces, I'll do them. Just you guys just need to let me know, and I'll work on working on them. If that makes any sense. But anyway, again, thank you so much to everybody that dropped by. I appreciate the company, and again, I'm sorry for all the coughing. I will be here on Sunday. We'll do the the usual Sunday stream this week, and once we're done with that, we'll just continue. The next, if you haven't seen it already, I have dropped the Sarevsael deck profile already. If you wanted to build this for fun, then please give that video a look-see. I am really happy with how that deck performs, and there's video proof of how the deck performs. But next we have next we have my favorite start deck, Sarevsael. Not Sarevsael, sorry, Cristianos coming, and I don't need to do very much editing, deck editing, I mean, for this. I really like the way that it plays already, so I'll get this recorded very, very soon. But yeah, stay tuned for this deck profile. I'm really excited for it. But anyway, again, good night, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Thank you so much for dropping by the Outpost. I'll catch you in the next one.